Hello, James Bogue here, Yoga Top 40. Next entry, I Need a Hero. Recorded by Bonnie Tyler in the 1980s, a big power ballad, if you can call it that, with a dramatic video in the Grand Canyon, if I remember correctly. High octane song. I need a hero, she sings. Now, in a previous video I spoke about the primacy of faith in the sense of cultivating self-confidence, self-trust by heartful exploration in the arena of life. This is the first quality, that self-trust, shraddha in the Sanskrit, also known as faith, that yoga says is essential for yoga practice. The second quality that is mentioned is vīrya. And vīrya means the quality of a vīra. And a vīra, or a vīra in the feminine, is a hero or a heroine. So right at the beginning of the Yoga Shastra, in the Yoga Sūtra, when Patañjali, the great sage who gives us the Yoga Sūtra, lays out the foundational principles of yoga, he says, you need to have self-trust, self-confidence, that faith that comes from giving things a heartful, honest test in the arena of your own life, and vīrya. You've got to have the qualities of a great hero or heroine. So what are the qualities of a great hero or heroine? I would say courage is the first. And what is courage? Courage is when we are true to our heart. It's the opposite of being corrupt. Corrupt is when the heart is ruptured, when we go against our conscience for convenience's sake, or to make things easy in the short term, but we'll pay for it sooner or later when we do a corrupt action. Courage means, no, I'm going to stay true to my heart, even if the rest of the society is flooding in the opposite direction. This is what it takes to practice yoga. As my teacher first said many, many years ago, sometimes practicing yoga, imagine you're in London, that huge metropolis, and it's 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, and you're in one of the busy central stations, Piccadilly Circus, for example, and you're exiting the station, and you're going to go up the down escalator. Thousands of people are thronging down, and you're going to go up against the tide, as it were. Sometimes that is what yoga practice will mean. Because yoga is about remembering all of who we are. Now, our current understanding of who we are is likely to be influenced by various conditionings. And those conditionings have gained inertia. We have been carrying certain ideas, limiting ideas, for a long, long time. So they have that inertia, like that huge swell of people coming down that down escalator. So we have to be heroic, valorous, determined, persistent, and make our way against the inertia of that habit or that mode of being that we now recognize isn't really serving us, isn't helping us to be all of ourselves. So you have to be a hero. Now the word vīrya is also very interesting, because vīra in Sanskrit doesn't just mean hero or heroine, it means human being. But it carries then the sense of the human being who musters the courage to wrestle with all that it means to be human. Because this is what it means to practice yoga. Yoga is about being wholly who we are. So we have to face our dark side. We have to dive into the shadowlands of our psyche and harmonize those dark fields, bring them into the light of awareness so we can integrate them, so we can reconcile all parts of ourselves. Yoga is about cultivating unity, and the only real unity is one that includes. We cannot leave anything out. If we want to come to real wellness or real health, this cannot be at the expense of some part of ourself or some part of our ethos, our wider home. We have to reconcile, integrate, and harmonize. Health and sustainable well-being does not come by destroying or ravaging some part of ourself that we're not happy with. Rather, those parts of ourself that we identify as maybe not being so helpful, we have to rehabilitate them. We have to acknowledge them, and then work with them. And maybe those things that we really prefer not to look at, when we do look at them, we realize those things that have been lurking in the shadowlands of our being, they are harboring great gifts. Beautiful things grow in the dark. If I have the courage to go into that darkness, maybe I realize there's great treasure waiting for me there. If I can find the courage to do the work, to actually reconcile. I can muster the courage to step outside of my current understanding of who I am and invite myself into a fuller recognition of who I really am and what I'm really made of. But in order to do this, you need to be a hero. And yoga is very clear about this. It tells us right from the get-go, you want to do this. Yoga is called sometimes walking the razor's edge. But once you start walking the razor's edge, do you want to go and walk on the pavement again? It doesn't quite cut it anymore. But in order to do this, you've got to have heart. You've got to have courage. You've got to have faith. And you've got to practice being a hero. Heroism, sure, we might say it's an innate instinct, but it takes practice. So practice being courageous. Practice looking beyond our assumptions. Practice questioning our ways of deciding if something is is appropriate for us or not. We have to be courageous.